Hey, welcome back to Full Measure Farm. Today we're going to be talking about a super easy way to can tomato sauce. If you are a busy person or simply a person who does not like to throw a bunch of time into the kitchen, this is the way to do it for you. I really don't like to use absolutes, but I do feel like this is like the easiest way to turn out a really good tomato sauce. So this is how you do it. I just take the tomatoes and I start by cutting some in half, and I'll squeeze a little bit of juice out and I'll put those in the bottom of a big saucepan. Then I add maybe enough to fill the pan like a third of the way full. I put all my herbs and onions in there. Then I'll put a lid on it and I let it steam, and that lets those initial tomatoes like pop and get all juicy. When that happens, I add a lot more tomatoes. Some of them I cut in half, but really you don't need to if you put a lid on and kind of let them steam and pop. And I stir it a little bit just so it doesn't scorch on the bottom. But when you do it like this, there's not a ton of sediment to settle, so it requires much less stirring. So if you like to throw it in there and go out to the field and come back in a little bit, this is the way to go. So it'll cook all the way down. I like a thick tomato sauce, so I cook mine down at least by half. By the time I get it all full, it's at least reduced by half. Then I use an immersion blender and I blend it up, and you get the best thick sauce. And the whole thing is thick, not like some homemade tomato sauces where you have like the thick stuff and then like a watery juice that'll like settle under your spaghetti noodles when you serve it over spaghetti. But the whole thing is thick because you blend it after cooking down the tomatoes. That is the key to thick sauce. I usually add a couple chopped tomatoes in at the end. My husband likes just a little bit of texture, but this way you get the texture without all the wateriness in your sauce. After that, it goes into jars, and I like to use quarts. We have 4 kiddos, and it just seems like a better size for me, but I definitely went through a lifetime where we put it into pints. So either way, pints or quarts are great. And then I add my citric acid. I do it in a pressure canner, but you can also do it in a water bath canner, so be sure to check with your canning book or on a trusted online source to get the correct time to process that at. For me, I always have my pressure canner out at this time of year to do green beans or corn or whatever it is I'm canning, so to me that's just an easier option. I've tried several ways of canning tomato sauce. Growing up, we used to blend the raw tomatoes and then cook it down. But as I mentioned earlier, if you blend the tomatoes up at the beginning and don't do a reblend at the end, then you end up with like a sauce that will kind of separate and the whole thing won't be really thick. So that is a real key to doing it. Also, if you blend it or soften it up at the beginning, your sauce will tend to scorch more because it will settle to the bottom of the pan. When you do it like this, there's a bunch of that tomato juice that cooks along the bottom of the pan, so you can leave it for a lot longer periods of time without a terrible ending up situation of a scorched saucepan. This also works really great if you want to make a thick ketchup that doesn't get watery, to cook it down in the same way. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you could let me know in the comments if it was helpful, or if you have a different way of canning tomato sauce that works great for you. I am always up for new ideas, and it's fun to trade methods of stuff like this. So just let me know, and if you guys enjoyed, you can always click the subscribe button and the like button. Thanks again for watching, guys. Good luck with all your canning.